What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel. If you're brand new to the channel, well, first of all, thank you for joining the channel and being here. And I just clicked on. I wanted to see this guy talking about the big story, but I'm not subscribed. Well, that's pretty easy. Just hit the subscribe button. Show a little class, just an ounce. Help us get to 70,000 if you can. Thank you so much. Thank you very little. Okay, so the Guardians Christmas special dropped, and I was going to do a reaction to that. And then I was like, well, wait a minute. Jamess Gunn, there's more news of Jamess Gunn than just this Christmas special. So, in the news, big news, Jamess Gunn and Peter Safran are named the co-chairman and the CEO of DC Studios. This is massive, massive news. Warner Brothers boss David Zaslav. I'm going to give him Zaslav credit on this one because this is a big win for him. And they have a new head of DC Studios, not one, but two, and it's Guardians of the Galaxy and Suicide Squad filmmaker Jamess Gunn and DC Films producer Peter Safran. They both have new titles of co-chairman and CEO of DC Studios, overseeing the overall creative direction of the DC universe across film, TV, and animation under a single banner. The duo will report to Zaslav, but will also be in close correspondence with Warner Brothers Film Group co-chairs and CEO Mike DeLuca and Pam Abdi on such matters as marketing, distribution, capital spend, just so that everyone is on the same page. Gunn and Safran start on November 1st. So what happened here? This is, again, some deadline. Buzz was intense that Safran was going to get the job last week in the wake of former DC Films president Walter Hamada departing the studio. Then insiders said that wasn't true, that the first look deal for the Safran company was just re-upped. Turns out that Safran didn't want to run DC alone unless there was a creative face, that being his Peacemaker and Suicide Squad partner, Jamess Gunn. Apparently, the twosome were always in the mix and became contenders for the job as they were advising Zaslav on candidates, one of those previously being Warner Brothers vet and Lego movie producer Dan Lin. In his new role, Gunn is exclusive to Warner Brothers Discovery DC, no more Marvel. He can only direct TV series and movies for Warner Discovery. DC Gunn's Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3 comes out via Disney Marvel on May 5th. There's also Guardians of the Galaxy Holiday Special hitting Disney. The model that Zaslav and DeLuca were eyeing here in the Gunn-Safran was one akin to Disney's Pixar, where there was a creative and business face to the new DC label. Moving on. Hold on. I'm trying. Meanwhile, the Safran company will continue to be run by its president of production, John Rickard. They have several projects in the mix inside and outside Warner's DC, i.e. the Idris Elba, John Cena action feature Heads of State in the works at Amazon. While Lin was a serious candidate, we hear he asked Zaslav for too much. Wonder what too much was. Furthermore, untangling Lin from his deal at Universal would have been a headache for Warner, as the former Warner Brothers development had a financing component to this deal. Safran was an easier get, given he only first look deal already in place at Warner Brothers. Gunn and Safran will work closely with Blois, as well as Channing Dungey, chairman Warner Brothers Television Group, Kathleen Finch, chairman and chief content officer U.S. Networks Group, Pam Lifford, yada 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 yada. Zaslav is still looking for a new head of Warner Brothers Animation. The third feature bucket he outed was taking the new column next to Warner Brothers Motion, blah, 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 blah. In their new roles, Gunn and Safran will spearhead the development and execution of long-term plan for the many properties licensed from DC Comics, focused on continuing the tradition of DC storytelling across all mediums, while building a sustainable growth business out of the franchise. Safran has been a linchpin for Warner New Line, building out The Conjuring to the biggest horror franchise, over at $2 billion. Okay, so let's see. Going back in. There's a lot of stuff here. So, also on the horizon from Safran's DC is Shazam, Fury of the Gods, Blue Beetle, Aquaman, Lost Kingdom, not produced by Safran, but definitely DC, is the Ezra Miller starring The Flash on June 23rd. Zaslav commented, DC has among the most entertaining, powerful, and iconic characters in the world, and I'm thrilled to have the singular and complementary talents of James and Peter joining our world-class team and overseeing the creative direction of the storied DC universe. Their decades of experience in filmmaking, close ties to the creative community, and proven track record thrilling superhero fans around the globe make them uniquely qualified to develop a long-term strategy across film, TV, and animation, and taking this iconic franchise to the next level. Gunn and Safran said, "We're honored to be the stewards of those DC characters, and we've loved since we were children. We look forward to collaborating with the most talented writers, directors, and actors in the world to create an integrated, multi-layered universe that still allows for the individual express of the artists involved. Our commitments are to Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Harley Quinn, and the rest of the DC stable of characters. It's only equaled by our commitment to the wonder of human possibility that these characters represent. We're excited to invigorate the theatrical experience around the world as we tell some of the biggest, most beautiful, and grandest stories ever told. We're especially enthusiastic about doing all this with Mike, Pam, Casey Channing, and the whole Warner Brothers team. And it goes on and on and on. And it's a very long article. Let's see if there's anything else. But one of the greatest strengths, Superman, Batman, Jason Peters, so we know. It's pretty big. But we could not ask for a better time to run DC, and excited to welcome them to next week. Please join me in wishing them much success. Okay. This is probably the biggest story in right now. I mean, this is massive. So on the day that they released the trailer of the Jamess Gunn Christmas special for Guardians, where he's been in sync with forever, they dropped this news. And there's no coincidence there. So you get both these guys. Well, Jamess Gunn, I was just talking about Jamess Gunn today. So much for where I don't think he's going to be doing anything in Star Wars anymore because he's probably just going to be so busy in DC. I loved the Suicide Squad. I love Peacemaker. I really, really love what Jamess Gunn has done with DC, and I think he's going to have with his DC properties, and I think he's going to have a blast with it. And if you look at Peter Safran's resume thus far, he seems to get it as well. I think this is a big win for DC fans. I think this is a big win overall. And you look at the journey and emotional roller coaster of a life that Jamess Gunn has had from being essentially canceled to where you didn't think he was going to be working anywhere, and ousted from Disney in general, and then he goes back to Disney, but then he also goes to DC, and now he runs DC. Very, very different world for Jamess Gunn, not only 3 or 4 years later or whatever it might be. So good for Jamess Gunn. He is now he's now running this whole thing, and I'll tell you, man, this is this is exciting to me. I wonder how Dwayne Johnson fits into all this. Is a big question. Also, like, did he know about any of this? Does he know about any of this? Is this part of the Superman deal? Did he know it was coming in? I want to know how that all fits into it, because I know he was trying to throw his name or his hat into the ring for being an advisor. I don't think that's going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe they do. I'm not sure though. But one of the things that by getting Jamess Gunn has been so involved in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and from Guardians 1 through 3, and having his characters also involved in the Avengers movies and all that, and being so tight-knit with Kevin Feige. He's a very smart dude, so he gets how it all works and how it ties together and how it's got to play, and clearly Safran does also. I think this answers any questions as far as, they already announced Peacemaker 2, but I think you can rest easy that we know that we're definitely getting that, and we could get that as long as they want to do it now. Now I wonder what is there a conflict of interest at all now, because he's got this title, right? And Kevin Feige has a big title, but he's not a director. And he's not choosing the things to put himself in to direct and all that. Like, how does that work? They might have covered that inside the article, and I skipped over it. I'm not sure, but how does that work? If Jamess Gunn is like, you know what, I'm going to direct this one, does he also get paid as a director? Does he get paid as a writer on it too? How does it work with his deal? I'm so curious about that. I'm sure more details will come, but whatever the details come in this article, how Peter Safran basically said, yeah, because it was rumored that he was going to be taking over, and in fact, it looks like they were always the two of them being talked about. With this big shocker that Gunn comes out to do it, I think it's a very smart move. I think it's a smart move with fans. I think that you look at what Jamess Gunn has done in the comic book space over the last couple of years, almost a course of a decade at this point, with Guardians 1, 2, apparently 3 looks really emotional. I have not seen it. Even you look at the smaller things with like the Groot shorts and things like that. But to me, my favorite out of all the stuff that he has done is definitely Peacemaker, and then the Suicide Squad right behind it. So I actually like his DC stuff better than I liked his Marvel stuff. And I enjoy it. I just rewatched Guardians not too long ago. I enjoy it. But I think that with him now running the ship with Peter Safran, and the other thing I really liked was something I've been saying for a long time that I wish Lucasfilm would do. Zaslav said, and granted, Zaslav is the he's the president of Warner Brothers, so he puts them in place and says, "Here's your money. Here's this. Check in with me, but you guys go do what you have to do and make us money. If they don't make money, then you have to answer to me. But go do your thing. Make your creative choices. Go run the DC universe." And now, essentially, you could say, "Well, that's what Chap Check, Paycheck, Shoe Check does with Kathleen Kennedy." I just wish Kathleen Kennedy would do that with somebody and say, "Okay, look, I'm running Lucasfilm overall. You guys run this division of it. You guys run this division, and then you run the film division. And same thing. Give me the answers." But nonetheless, James Gunn, Safran, this is a good win for DC. And as much, and again, I've been calling him Zaslav the entire time because I think these are big moves. These are good moves for him, and he had a lot of losses coming out with some of his announcements in the way that he was doing in his bedside manner, if you will, with the way that he presented certain things. I happen to think that if the Batgirl movie wasn't good, then you cancel it. But I don't like the way that he did it. I think that he did it in a way that was disrespectful to the cast, to the crew, to everybody. It just was like there was no soul to how he did it. If it wasn't good and they want to collect a tax benefit on it, that's their right as a business, and I get that. But I think there's a lot of things he did with the animation and whatever. But now with the announcement of Cavill coming back, these guys running the shop. DC picked up a few wins. Warner Brothers picked up a few wins over the last 2 weeks. And look, even Black Adam, which I really enjoyed. I liked that movie. I thought it was fun. Is it a great movie? It's fun. And the movie, did it make $100 million? No, but it made $68 million opening weekend domestically. It's the biggest opening, I think, for The Rock. And it's a massive. That's a win in October. It's a win. So they got some wins under the belt right now, and this is a good move. Plus the fact it's almost like if you look at it in baseball terms, and James Gunn was playing for the Red Sox for a long time, and now he's playing for the Yankees, or vice versa, however you want to look at it. Or he's playing for the Dodgers, and now he's playing for San Francisco, or whatever. Point is that this is a big move, and it's a massive title and a massive jump in James Gunn's career from being a very successful director to now having this dual title with Peter Safran. So these guys are going to be doing a lot of things and a lot of pressure on them. But I think because of the way, being a student of what Marvel has done and how he's been around it, he's going to take a lot of that with him, and he's going to take that creative juice. And I think you're going to get a lot more of the kind of more DC. DC can be more gritty. DC can be more, more raw. And I think that's where James Gunn can shine. So I love this choice. I love it. Safran obviously has a great resume as well with his producing things. So this is a 1-2 punch. So curious to hear. I have not looked at anyone's thoughts. I have not looked at this is a positive thing from the DC fandom. I have not looked at it from casual fans. I have no idea. I'm going in fresh, telling you what I think. I would guess that people would be excited about this, but again, it's the internet. It could be people could hate this. So I'm very, very curious to hear everybody here, not only for the obvious that I'd love for you to hit the like button and then obviously the subscribe button, but I'd love for you to hit the comment. And I want to see, because I want to hear your voice. So if you're like, I don't really comment on videos much, please comment now, because I know you have a thought about it. Whether you think it's a positive, whether you think it's a negative, whatever you think it is, comment, and please let me know, because I am so curious of how people are going to react to this. It's the biggest story in a while in the film sphere. So go ahead, let me know, and once again, please subscribe. Thank you so much for joining me here on my channel. I appreciate you, and we'll see you on the flip side, everybody. Peace. Thanks.